Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're exploring a profound topic: how the crucible of war has forged and forever changed European culture. Out of the ashes of conflict, a new cultural landscape often emerged, one that bore the deep scars of its trauma, but also carried the flickering hope of renewal. Let's delve into how art, literature, and music became the world's memory keepers. First, let's turn to the written word. In the immediate aftermath of wars, literature often takes the form of raw, unfiltered chronicles of experience. Memoirs and poetry from soldiers and civilians alike became powerful testaments to suffering, loss, and the stark futility of violence. These weren't grand tales of glory. They were intimate, heartbreaking accounts of survival and grief. Think of the poets from the First World War, whose words still echo with the horror of the trenches. Decades or even centuries later, historical novels allow subsequent generations to revisit these conflicts. Authors use fiction to process the collective trauma, to ask why, and to understand how these events shaped the world they inherited. By weaving personal stories into the grand tapestry of history, these novels ensure that the human cost of war is never forgotten. Now let's shift our focus to the visual arts. Art has always been a powerful tool, and in times of war, it can serve very different purposes. During the Baroque period, for instance, art was often a form of state propaganda. Grand dramatic paintings glorified rulers, celebrated military victories, and were designed to project an image of strength and divine right. They were meant to inspire awe and loyalty, carefully crafting a narrative of righteous triumph. But art also became a voice for the voiceless. A powerful counter-narrative emerged with the rise of realism. Artists began to turn their gaze away from the kings and generals and toward the common people who bore the brunt of the suffering. A prime example is the work of Jacques Caillot. His series of etchings, The Great Miseries of War, created in the 17th century, was groundbreaking. It didn't depict glorious battles. It showed the brutal reality faced by civilians: pillage, destruction, and execution. Caillot's work was a shocking and unflinching look at the true face of war, forcing viewers to confront its devastating human impact. This tradition of bearing witness through art continues to this day. Finally, let's listen to the sounds of conflict and peace. Music, in its unique, emotive way, has always responded to war. Following periods of intense conflict, sacred musical compositions often soared through the cathedrals of Europe. Pieces like masses and requiems became communal expressions of grief, prayers for the fallen, and profound pleas for lasting peace. They offered a space for collective mourning and spiritual solace, channeling a society's sorrow and hope into a transcendent musical form. At the same time, on the ground, among the people, folk songs captured the everyday realities of war. These weren't grand compositions for the church or court. They were the stories of ordinary people set to simple melodies. These songs narrated the hardships of a soldier's life, the pain of families being torn apart, and the long, weary journey of displacement. Passed down through generations, these folk songs preserved a grassroots history of the conflict, ensuring that the personal struggles and resilience of the common person were woven into the cultural memory of the nation. In summary, from the pages of novels and the strokes of a paintbrush to the notes of a symphony, the experience of war has left an indelible mark on European culture. It has served as a subject of propaganda, a catalyst for protest, and a vessel for collective memory. These cultural artifacts are more than just historical records. They are the very soul of a continent grappling with its past, shaping its identity, and striving always for a more peaceful future. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If you found this exploration interesting, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into history and culture. We'll see you in the next one.